Yes, indeed, folks. You're tuning in to the final Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Welcome to the show. If you just tuned in, you missed quite a lot. Oh, I pity you. I really do. I would strongly recommend you go to the IRC channel. It's irc.wowirc.com or irc.mmoirc.com. Go check it out, or use the client on our front page, wcradio.com. Click the IRC chat button, link at the top of the screen, and find out what the hell is going on if you're not here already. Yes, I would imagine that would probably scare you, someone. Oh well, never mind. We shall see. We shall see. Alright, well, I'm asking you for your final emails as regards to what you want me to talk about. I've had somebody send in the Leaks BlizzCon schedule. I have had a look at it, and I can't say I'm massively excited by what I see. It's like, okay, there's going to be open gaming for World of Warcraft and StarCraft 2, so we get to play some new content for World of Warcraft. I imagine it's going to be Zola Man. If you go by what happened in 05, we got to play Anchorage 20. WoW, Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 3 tournament. Yeah, we knew that was happening anyway. Open ceremony, where they'll announce a new game or expansion, one would imagine. Panels on WoW classes, dungeon raids, professions and items and PvP. Yep, those are always interesting. We'll be trying to cover those as much as we can. And, of course, we are doing a donation drive at the moment. We're doing pretty well so far. We are trying to afford some awesome grade cameras so we can take you some awesome footage. And we mean awesome archive footage. It's going to all go on the website. We're going to show you as much as we humanly can. Oh, yeah. We're not broadcasting live this year because Blizzard apparently doesn't want us to. And didn't give us the space, which kind of sucked. Apparently they pre-sold all of their space. This is what I've been told. They pre-sold all of their space to bigger companies before they even announced it to the public, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I'm through bitching about that. I'm going to do a decent show today, and last show, of course, with Blue Please. I've got StarCraft 2 gameplay demo, which, again, was to be expected. Not that I'm really all that interested in it. Yeah, okay, StarCraft 2 gameplay demo. Well, it's going to play the same as the last one. We already know that, and that's why we're going to like it. And more panels on the TCG, WoW UI mod, StarCraft Lore and Art, blah, 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 all that cool stuff. And, of course, the concert. So there's nothing really out of the ordinary or surprising there. So the leak was kind of pointless, in my honest opinion. We already knew all of that was coming anyway. No surprises there. No surprises there. Well, there's a few other things as well. And somebody's emailed me in with the WoW Wiki article for rumoured expansions. Loads of stuff that could be in the expansion. I'm not going to go through all of this because it is pretty much blind speculation, let's face it. We've got stuff like World of Warcraft, the Great Sea. The Great Sea, the Maelstrom, Pandaria, but no Pandaria. Pandaras were effectively a joke anyway. They were a joke race. Stop trying to make them real. No. Najatar, Makaru, Undermine, Zandalar, Gilneas, and the greater Kulturas area of islands. So, in other words, boat mounts, right? So we're expecting boat mounts. You can buy your own boat and you can sail around Dragon Quest VIII style and have random encounters where you're attacked by giant octopus. Possibly. Why not? It is possible. I think probably out of the ones that are there, it's reasonable. Just for the sake of it allowing you to get yet another new mount that's going to cost you an absolute fortune. Just for the sake of that. And the fact that it's on the map already, which makes things easier. There we go. The World of Warcraft, the Emerald Dream. That's a possibility. Areas, the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Paradise. Oh, okay. And what? Is that it? Well, yeah. I imagine it's going to be an area. I really do think that none of these are going to be right. I think it's going to be a mixture of the lot. I genuinely believe they're going to just dump in a whole bunch of mixed content for people. They're not going to follow what they did with the Burning Crusade and just put it in one area. They're going to mix it up. That's my belief at any rate. All these different areas scattered around. And you know what? I kind of prefer that. I'd especially prefer that if they managed to link it in with some of the older content, some of the Azeroth stuff, and allowed you to, say, start quests from there, have new rep stuff, or just connect it up. Get a storyline going that doesn't involve you going into a completely separate walled garden area which has got nothing to do with Azeroth, and nothing you do there affects what happens in Azeroth. I would think, this is my belief, that they are going to mix it up. There's going to be some Northrend, there's going to be some Emerald Dream, there might even be some Great Sea, there's going to be all of this other stuff. It's going to all be there. That's my belief at any rate. That is my belief. They're going to mix it up, and they're going to release an expansion which just has a shed load of content in different places that is actually linked into the old world. That's my thoughts on that particular issue. Whether or not they're going to bring in new classes, well, Blizzard has not really shown a great deal of willingness to bring in new classes in any way, shape or form. They're having difficulty balancing the existing ones, as people are well aware, and that's of course due to talents and the fact that they're trying to make classes different and yet balanced, and that is difficult. And it was difficult enough for them to balance 3 races in StarCraft. Now they're going to balance 9 classes. It's tricky stuff. I'm not going to dispute that. I think they've done a pretty good job, to be quite honest. There's a few problems. There's a few things that could be sorted out. But at the end of the day, I think they've done a pretty decent job. Whether they're going to throw a little bit of oil onto the flame by giving us some new classes is debatable, to say the least. I don't think they will. New classes are certainly better content than new races. If they're bringing new races, I will strangle them. I will seriously strangle them. New races are not new content. A new starting area. Stop trying to make us re-roll. I'm sorry. But, in my opinion, the game has always been good enough to sustain a single character for a very great length of time, which is why from day one I've played the same character. The content has been there for me to experience, the character was there for me to advance. That is the purpose of the MMO. One would hope, at any rate. Asking people to reroll because this content is slightly prettier or slightly more fun, or these abilities are slightly more imbalanced, or you can do this, you can do this, hey, you can be a shaman, hey, you can be a paladin, you know, you've got to reroll now, you've got to reroll a different race, experience this new content, blah, blah. New content that really is relevant to most of the players, because it's just leveling content. It's leveling content that isn't even relevant to their main. Well, asking people to change their main that they've been spending so long on just to get a new race is silly, in my opinion. It's great for the new players, but then again, the new players already have a choice of 10 races now. I do sincerely hope they don't bring in new races. I really, really sincerely hope they don't. I would hope that they've learned that it was a nice publicity stunt last time, but I don't think it's going to work again. They did really well hyping up the new races like Blood Elves and Draenei, haha. You know, getting some excitement going and getting the hype rolling, and of course all of the sites jumped on the bandwagon. We did to some degree as well, and we said, hey, you know, let's get excited about this new hidden content. They're being a bit mysterious. What's it gonna be? Oh, it's a blue space alien. Well, that's not new content in my opinion, and it never will be. And you will never convince me otherwise, so don't bother trying. So yeah, new classes, it's a risky area. I do, to some degree, hope they do, just to mix it up a little bit, but I'd rather see advancement of our existing stuff. Maybe new talent trees. Expand the talent trees, maybe. Maybe allow us to advance to, I don't know, hero classes? We're waiting long enough for those. I would hope that hero classes are going to come into there somewhere, but from the sounds of it, Blizzard just seems to not know what to do with them. Well, they really need to have a look at games that have already done hero classes. Let's think of a game that's done a hero class. Pulling off the top of my head, Dungeon Siege 2. Dungeon Siege 2 has hero classes, and Dungeon Siege Throne of Agony, they've got hero classes. Let's look at how they do it. You get to a certain level, and you get to then pick one of 2 different paths, and then depending on what path you've took, you go a little bit further, or a lot further, and then you get to advance to yet another different class. So what you've got is you've got 3 starting classes here, and then at level 30 you get a split off of 2. This is from Throne of Agony. This is the only game I've actually played extensively, so that's why I'm taking it off. PSP version, it's not very good. I was just bored at work. So here's your class. You get to your level, and then you get to choose one of 2. Yeah, and then from that point you get to choose one of 2 based on what you've chosen. So at the end of the day, there are 4 of the ultimate version of hero class. I don't know what they're called, heroic classes or supreme classes or I think they're legendary classes. Legendary classes. There's 4 of them. But if you picked one earlier, you can only pick 2 after that. So it splits off 2 and 2. Yeah? That works if you're in a level-based environment. Problem is we're not anymore. Not anymore. We can't base it on levels. Not anymore. It's too late for that. If they were going to implement that, they should have done it earlier. I mean, they could have probably pulled it off in Burning Crusade, but right now, what are you expecting people to do? Reach level 70, then pick their first hero class, then reach, level 80? No, it doesn't need to be level-based at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's about variety. It's about developing your class in such a way as to allow you to play the class you've always wanted to play. For instance, I'm a fire mage at heart. Pure and simple. Always have been. Yeah? Fire is my thing. I'm not interested in arcane, I'm not interested in frost, I burn things. I want to be a pyromancer. Why can't I be a pyromancer? Now, let's have a hero class option that allows me to advance my particular chosen talent tree. I've been in it for so long, let me develop it further. Let me pick and choose some talents, let me mix it about. Let me develop a class of my own, let me customize. That's the kind of thing that people want. Variety is not at its high point, let me put it that way. It's doing pretty well, at least from a limited perspective. There's two ways you can look at variety. You can look at variety as saying, well, there's now these viable specs. Okay, well, are there 3 viable specs per class for the majority of the content? Yeah, kind of, mostly. I mean, you could spec Frost, you could spec Fire, you could spec Arcane, and you can mix it up a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're still speccing mainly into one tree. So if we say there's 3 variants per class and 9 classes, well, do the math, 27 variants, yeah? That is okay, that's not bad, but you're still not giving people customizability. You are providing them with template specs. There are specs which work best. There is no reason really to take a spec which isn't like that. You can mess about with it a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you say rating as Mage, you'll be rating as 1048-3, up to maybe Tempest Keep and Tier 5 level, and then you might switch to Arcane. And you might pick Frost, but, well, Frost DPS, as you will have seen, if you're looking at any raid DPS meters, does not match up to Fire. Of course, complemented now with Shadow Priests, Fire Mages, well, don't care about that. So you've got that viable spec. And of course, with Warriors, you can either be a Prot Warrior, Fury Warrior, and Arms Warrior. That's not really mixing it up. There's always a spec that's going to be better for a purpose than anything else. That's just the way of things. And if you're not picking that, then you're deliberately gimping yourself. Well, why would you ever do that? I can't understand why you would. So the variety, if anything, is something of an illusion. Now, by allowing people to be really, really choosy and effectively build their own class on the basis of the class you've already got, then you give people choice, and that excites people. People like to choose. They like to get involved in creating something that is truly unique to them. That is important. When you see a guy with a weapon that no one else has, or an item, even say, my barbecue hibachi grill, or my Murky, there's no one on my server that has either of those, to my knowledge. That makes me unique, in a very small way, but it's good enough for me. People like to be different. They don't like to think that their class is a carbon copy of any other class. If you see someone with a weapon that no one else has, you think that's cool. That guy probably thinks it's cool as well. I've got a weapon that nobody else has. That's awesome. I like that. That's fun. It's fun for me. And it gives me a genuine feeling of possession. I possess my character and it is mine. It's not a case of there are many like it, but this one's mine. It's a case of this is truly unique to me. Hero classes are a way of doing that, if you allow people to customize. Balance issues do arise. Not gonna dispute that whatsoever. But yeah, it's interesting to see what people actually say about this kind of thing. We've got a guy who actually doesn't think that Blizzard are doing anything. They're not doing an expansion. He says this. This is from Dr. Chetmate on Ice Crown US. He says this. As for an expansion, I am not optimistic that Blizzard will be doing anything. There are 3 teams, one working on WoW, one on StarCraft 2, and another on Diablo 3, one would assume. I don't see any new races joining, any new level content that would make TBC content mute, and Northrend would signal some sort of finality. I really think Blizzard's just going to add zones, raiding instances, or upgrade existing instances. 95% of the players have not hit bleeding edge content, and a lot of players haven't even reached level 70. Just upgrade what they have, and when the majority of players hit end content, then you see an expansion. Possibly. The thing is, you can release that as an expansion. I think Blizzard realises that if they release an expansion, and if they release enough content for it to justify it being an expansion in the first place, people are going to buy it. Money is good. Money makes the world go round, especially when you're dealing with a company. As far as I'm concerned, that I see that kind of thing happening. I don't see a level increase. I see a huge batch of content being released as an expansion relatively quickly. I don't expect it to take them too long, because if it does, then people are just going to leave. They will come back at the promise of new stuff if it's good and if there's a lot of it. If you advance the story, because some people do really care about that, I would say the majority care about that, even from a small perspective. Loads of people cared whether or not Illidan said you are not prepared when he started the encounter, and all this kind of stuff. Very small story elements, but important. It's important to most people, even on a very small, even subliminal level. If you advance the story, people will start to care again. If you give them new things to do, people will start to care again. If you make all of your other stuff redundant while adding that stuff, then people stop caring. It's like, hey, here's all this content. Well, the Outland is smaller than Azeroth, and now Azeroth is useless. Please don't make the same mistake. That's all I could say. Please allow us to advance our existing characters without making the rest of it redundant. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. It's time for some Nubcake news. Enjoy.
Nubcake News!
Stop that. Welcome to this week's edition of Nubcake News. Coming up later in the programme, we bring you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at new sitcom 2.5 Murlocs, plus the life and times of Grizzly Adams, the Druid. But first, in breaking news, Blizzard have announced their fan convention. BlizzCon will open its doors in August to showcase a wealth of delights that are sure to have Koreans quivering in delight, and the rest of us wandering around looking at the inflatable Blackrock Mountain climbing tower. When questioned as to whether the inflatable Blackrock Mountain climbing tower was the new Alliance race, Chris Metzen was seen deep in thought and quickly grabbed a pencil to take what appeared to be in-depth notes. We asked Zarek, who chased us off with a big stick, and then we asked Aenix, who was seen crying in a corner and blowing his nose on what appeared to be the Warlock class design document. We then asked Mike Morhaime, who confirmed that we will indeed receive a new expansion every week as of this moment on, some point in the future, never. But of course, no one gives a damn about new races anyway, so Nubcake News used stealth action to infiltrate BlizzCon's inner sanctum to expose what new treats Blizzard have in store for its eager public. We took up a vantage point on top of the inflatable Blackrock Mountain climbing tower and constructed a rudimentary telescope with the broken and useless remains of the Retribution tree. We were truly shocked at what we saw. 3 brand new, never-before-seen projects, which we are excited to reveal to you today. Introducing Warcraft Ghost, in which Jaina Proudmoore dresses in a skin-tight white ghost stealth suit, and prepares to save Azeroth from the insidious Silithid and mysterious, totally untrustworthy prototype Draenei, featuring cutting-edge third-person perspective graphical technology, available exclusively for the Atari Jaguar and Nintendo Wii. The Nintendo Wii version features exclusive controls, including the ability to beat the dead horse with the Wiimotes until you unlock bonus content, such as Blizzard-developed classics like The Death and Return of Superman. We strongly recommend players never ever use this feature, for fear of permanent blindness from the unimaginable fail that this title represents. But that's not all. Hot on the heels of StarCraft 2 comes Diablo 2, featuring amazing graphics in 640 by 480 and now the ability to pop potions before you actually pick them up, making the hardcore experience even more enjoyable. Featuring new recipes for the Heradric Cube, including
Mini Deckard,
Scourge Deckard,
and Mecha Deckard. And for the first time, playable Deckard Cain. All of the classes are unlockable. We figure players only want to play Deckard anyway. And last but not least, World of StarCraft. No, wait, we've done this already, haven't we? God damn it, McCoy, why did you have to put that in the script? Jim, I'm a doctor, not a comedian. We're gonna have to do this on the fly. The Sims StarCraft Edition, featuring at least 7 new items, including your very own pet Zergling. Need a way to get rid of those annoying children that you don't have the simoleons to support and never really wanted messing up the house anyway? Feed them to the Zergling with hilarious results. Plus the photon cannon security system, great for dealing with those pesky thieves who want to place your 85-inch HD TV into their comically small swag bags. Just remember to clean up the mess after firing. And last but not least, ever wanted a more orderly household? Then
spawn more overlords.
So, that's BlizzCon in a nutshell. You'd be a fool to miss out. This has been Nubcake News. Good night.